Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Sunday Night Purge call. This is so exciting getting back from our ambition. I know it was fantastic, and everyone is super energized and ready to go. I'm very excited for tonight's call. Richard has a special victim this evening, and I know it's going to be fantastic. As I said again, my name is Michelle Schaefer, Senior Consultant at Ambit, and I want to thank you for being on the call. This is a great way to prepare for your upcoming week. We really believe that this is a silver bullet for your business, and it gives you structure so that you can spend the 30 to 45 minutes a day doing the simple things you need to do to get your week started off right. So make sure you have your pen and your list of top 10 names, your calendar's open, and you're ready to go. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce our host this evening. If you're not familiar with Richard, he is an executive consultant in our business. He is a businessman in his own right. He has several Dickey's barbecue restaurants. He also owns a music box company. He's also a musician. He is brought us this Purge call. It's amazing, some of the kind of out-of-the-box thinking and practical training that Richard brings us. He's fantastic. He has been in the business about 6 years. He's financially free, what we call financially free. All his bills are paid, whether he works or not. He has also earned his way onto a 5-star trip, which I know I'm shooting for the next one. Richard earned his way onto one several years ago, which is a huge accolade. That means that out of 340,000 consultants at the time, he was one of 20 people that earned his way onto that trip, which is a huge accolade. He is also a movie star now. He's on the cover from Success from Home magazine, which is really exciting. I can't wait to see the magazines at our team dinner. So without further ado, I would like to introduce my dear friend, Mr. Richard Laidler.
Hello, you lovely of all lovelies. Are you there?
I am here.
Fantastic. I'm glad you can hear me. Thank you for that lovely introduction. As I say, I wish my mum would get on the call and listen in, because she doesn't really like me very much. And so, it'd be really nice if she could listen to that. Actually, she does. She loves me. Of course she does. She's a mum. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the call. What a fantastic ambition. I'm not going to go on about it, but I came out of there really kind of pumped. Very excited with my own goals for next year. Hopefully, you've all established some new goals for yourselves to reach your next pin levels and this type of thing. My next pin level will be an NC, so I'm looking for the EC rock stars in my team that want to be EC by then to help me get there. And hopefully, you're looking in your team to see who are the people who are going to help you reach your new position as they reach their new positions, and so on and so on. That's how that kind of works. But yeah, fantastic ambition. It was kind of like lots of extreme highs and some sad news and stuff like this as well. But it was just a really great celebration of our 10 years. But I don't want to dwell on that for too long, because I do want to make sure we finish this call a little bit earlier than usual. Very often I'm kind of like rushing to the last minute of the hour. And I don't want to do that, because I would like everybody to get onto the national call after after we finish on here, because the special guest is Chris Chambliss on the call. So make sure everybody gets onto that call once we're done here. So we're going to race through what's going on here. That being said, I know we have a lot of new people getting on the call. A lot of people at Ambition were saying, I'm going to get onto your call. So I wanted to kind of just give a very brief overview of what this call is all about, and then we're going to dive into the meat and potatoes. But of course, first of all, we do need to do one thing. When you step onto this call, you're stepping into just a little piece of England. And when you come to England, we have a nice cup of tea. So I've got myself a nice cup of tea here. Hold on. Oh, yeah. That is a perfect cup of tea. And so that's what we all need to do. When we get on this call, make sure you make yourself a nice cup of tea, not a big glass full of ice, but a warm cup of tea with milk and sugar. That's how a cup of tea should be. And it was just lovely. Cup of tea fixes everything. But anyway, moving on. This call is not a motivation call. It's not going to be anything about your why. There's going to be no hype. There's going to be no political platform. It's just going to be about planning your Ambit week. I truly believe, and as Michelle was talking about, that the silver bullet in this business is structure. And if you get your structure right, that kind of gets around everything else. And structure is on Sunday planning your upcoming week, knowing what you're going to do on Monday, knowing what you're going to do on Tuesday, knowing what you're going to do on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. There's nothing worse than starting your Ambit business week with I wonder what I'm going to do this week for Ambit. That is not professional. You wouldn't do it in your job. You wouldn't do it at school. You wouldn't do it in your sports team. So why do it in the one thing that's going to set you financially free? I do believe with all my heart the silver bullet for this is structure. And I do not believe it's because you're so in touch with your why, or you have a stronger why than someone else, or because you're the best inviter, or because you're the best presenter, or because you're a business owner, or because you're a salesperson, or because you know more people than everybody else, or because you're older or younger or darker or lighter or male or female. And it's not just because you have the best sponsor. And you know how I know that? You know how I know that list of reasons are not the silver bullets? It's because while those things are important, they're not why you're going to have your success. And you know why that is? It's because I know many people who have a huge why who have not had success with this business. I know a whole bunch of people with gift of the gab and are awesome inviters and are presenters who quit. And I know lots of successful business owners who really know how to make money, but they never sponsored one consultant. I know people who know thousands of other people personally and on Facebook, and they're social butterflies who start an Ambit business and never made it past RC. But you know what? I do not know one person who diligently made a couple of calls a day, were accountable every day to their upline, who did not find success. Everybody who has structure in this business finds success. If you hear Chris Atkinson's story, he talks about he didn't know why he was doing it necessarily at the time. He was a terrible inviter. He was all over the place. He had no structure, other than he knew every day he went to see his sponsor. He called his sponsor every day and said, "What do I do?" And his sponsor said, "Make a couple of calls and give me a call and let me know how it went on." And now Chris is he's a $5 million jacket wearer. I mean, goodness gracious me, come on. And the reason why is because the same structure you had at school, and the same structure you have in your job. You've got to treat this business with the same respect. I bet everyone on this call graduated high school. And that's 12 years of 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., simultaneous equations, or as you guys say, simultaneous equations. Well, geography, physics, the theory of osmosis, religious studies. Oh, my God, the periodic table. And every single one of you graduated. But 85% of Ambit consultants quit. 85% of Ambit consultants quit. And all we needed to do was gather a handful of people to save money on an electricity bill, and then find 3 people who hate their job or want a plan B for a better life. And the difference is, at school you had an environment to learn and an accountability if you didn't. In Ambit, we're sold on the idea of work whenever you want. You don't have a boss. And that's the worst thing you can have, because we've been brought up with structure our whole life. In school there was structure, in Ambit there is not. So this Sunday Purge call is all about putting structure back into your business. We're all going to treat this business for like a part-time job. Yep, I said the dirty word job, J-O-B. Because if you don't treat it with the same respect as you would a job, you won't find success from your Ambit business, and you may as well turn off your website. You've got to have some kind of structure in your business. You're going to learn the skills at the training. That's fine. That's okay. But you must have structure in your business. If you don't, you won't find success. And even if you do find success, it'll be slow, because if you don't have structure, your people won't have structure. Their people won't have structure. You may be lucky and find a rock star, but I'm not going to sit back here and rely on luck to do it. So that's what this call is all about. So with that being said, let's get on with this call tonight. These calls are grouped into 2 Sundays. The first Sunday, we start with a brand new consultant, and I delicately call them my victim. It's said with love, of course. Sometimes they're my team. Mostly they are not. The first Sunday, I work with my victim to establish the top 10 names from their written list. We'll then work together on this call. And as Michelle was saying, please be participatory in this call. Don't just sit back and go, oh, that's great, that's great. No, do it with your list as well. And you're like voyeurs listening in. And what we're going to do with all of those 10 names is we're going to create the perfect invite for each name on the list. And most importantly, while we're doing this, you're going to be doing it with your top 10 names too. Once the invites are done, we'll plan our victims week. 2 invitations a day, 1 accountability call each day until all the 10 names are called. And you will do the same. Everybody needs to have their calendar open the Monday through Friday to know what they're going to be doing. So you know when you're going to be making your 2 calls. Maybe 1 in the morning, maybe 1 at lunchtime. We've got to fit this in and around your job. I know that. But if you don't fit it in and around your job and your calendar, your job will get in the way every time and you won't make the calls. So as we get our invites done today, please make sure that when we're actually putting them into the calendar, you do the same thing. Both my victim and you should be able to look at your upcoming week's calendar and see where you're making your calls, okay? Then we're just going to add 1 business presentation and 1 team call to that. That's something everybody should be doing once a week, getting to your business presentation, ideally more than 1, but at least get to 1 once a week, just like you go back to church once a week. You know the story, you know why you're there, but you need to go, you need to refill your soul, you need to be surrounded by 1,000 other people who are excited about what you're excited about. Get to the business presentation and get in your team call. There is nothing better than starting your Ambit week knowing what it already looks like. And conversely, there's nothing worse than hoping you're going to get to your RC pin or your SC pin and not knowing what your Ambit week looks like. And you know what? That's most people in Ambit. They don't know what their Ambit week looks like. They just hope that they're going to bump into somebody. They hope they're going to find some courage to make a call. No, don't do that. We're planning that today on this call right now today. 10 names on a sheet with 10 invites written out next to them. Times in your calendar for the invites and the accountability call. 1 business presentation, 1 team call. That averages 30 to 45 minutes a day. It's your part-time job. It's that persistent and consistent effort that Brian and Mary always talk about. But instead of it just being the platitude, no disrespect to those people, instead of it being just the platitude of a phrase, I'm taking that phrase, putting it in a dictionary and breaking it down for you as to exactly what 30 to 45 minutes a day actually looks like. If you do this and repeat it every week, you will find 3 consultants in your business who will want to work with you. Just like the business presentation that we see, that chart that's up there in the business presentation of 3 who get 3, who get 3, who get 3, and they get them qualified either with 2 or 3 customers each, depending on which state you're in, and there's $11,000 sitting there waiting for you on the 7th level. That's enough for me. I don't need to go out and recruit 50 people. I'm good to go out and speak to a few people with good, solid, structured week because I'll find 3 people who are sick and tired of their job, wanted to always start their own business or whatever their reasons are, and that's what this will do. If you just do 2 calls a day, Monday through Friday, 1 accountability call week after week after week until you find your 3 and then teach them to do the same, you will find the success. Then, so that's the first Sunday. The 10 names, we're going to work out the invites and plan them into our week. Then next week, you need to get back on this call. We'll have the same victim on the call, and we'll go through what actually happened with the invites, with coaching and training all around everything that happened, everything that was good, everything that was not so good. In this business, we have good days, we have bad days, and everything comes on the call. I don't want to make this all, beautiful and sugar-coated. I want the good, the bad, the ugly. I want everything from, oh, my God, this is great, I need to get in this business, or all the way down to, oh, my God, this is the worst idea I've ever seen, you're going to jail. And I want everything in there because we deal with how to deal with it on these calls. In between, by the way, the Monday through Friday, I will be doing the accountability call with my victim, just like you will be with your accountability partner. And every one of those calls is going to be recorded, and they actually have probably more training on them than these calls. There's real nitty-gritty stuff about actually what happened when things went right, when things went wrong. I called this guy 4 times. What do I do now? He's not returning my calls. We deal with all of those things on those accountability calls during the week. The way you can find those recordings, I will post them on the EC Riders Facebook page every day. EC Riders, EC as in Executive Consultant, Riders, Riders. It's a play on the name of Easy Riders back on that 1969 film. Get on that Facebook page, listen to those recordings. They're anything from 10 minutes to sometimes 40 minutes, depending on how much training was in there. But the purpose of this second week, the second Sunday call, is to go through our list, the yeses, the people who said yes to the business, we plug them into the same call. The maybes, we qualify them. Are they a maybe really and validate them, or are they a no? Because the no's, we're going to purge them off their list. We're cleaning them off our list so that we can then call them back in 3 months to 6 months when the timing may be better for them. That's the most important thing. That's why it's called a purge call. Is because we want a clean plate every week. Every time we start our Monday, we want a clean plate. Now, there will be some calls from the previous week you're following up with, and so you may not have necessarily 10 new names every week, but you need to have 5 or 6 or whatever, ideally 10. I mean, there's no reason why you shouldn't be doing 10, two new calls, invite calls every day. But the most important thing is that the people who are no's that you're wishing they would just say yes, you've got to purge them. If they're not saying a yes, if they're not even a maybe, but they're a no, and you just, oh, he's going to call me back. He's going to call me back. She said she would do it, but no, purge them. You're going to get back to him in 3 to 6 months. Don't worry. You'll get there. The most important thing is that if you keep relying on those people coming round for you, you're not going to make the calls to that new person who could be the person who says, oh, my God, I have been praying for something like this for the longest time. I am in. I am so in. So those of you who are brand new, that's kind of what we do. 2 Sundays. One is preparing for the week. The other one is going back through the week and seeing how they went. So let's get going with our brand new victim. And for a change this week, my victim is actually someone from my team, which is freaking awesome for me. I got to make some money, guys. I got to make some money. I'm going to bring someone from my team every now and again. 90% are usually someone else's team, but that's okay. But she was brought in by our very own winner of the America's Got Talent for her singing skills, senior consultant and MC on this call, senior consultant Michelle Schaefer. And you have to ask her about that America's Got Talent thing. She was quite incredible. She's the most incredible singer you'll ever hear. She was really awesome. She's going to kill me for that. Michelle was lucky enough to sponsor a fantastic go-getter, someone just like herself. And on our victim this week is fast-track promoter to RC, Christy Taylor. Christy, are you on the call with me?
I am.
Hello, my lovely. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great, thanks. How are you?
Fantastic. I'm doing very well indeed. So here's the thing about Christy. Christy went out today to Six Flags and is still at Six Flags with her family, but still took the time out to get onto this call because she knows how important it is to have a prepared week. And that's the same kind of commitment each of you need to have. We're not talking about taking the whole day out to do this, just a little bit of time out of whatever you're doing to prepare your week. Because if you don't have a prepared week, you're not going to have a good week. So with that being said, thank you for doing that, Christy. I really appreciate you coming on the call while you've out there having fun with the kids. So thank you for that.
Sure.
Okay, well, first of all, just so we can kind of get a picture of who you are, would you mind just telling us a little bit about yourself, about your family, maybe what you do for a living? I never ask a lady her age, but the kind of age group you're in so people can kind of relate to what you're talking about.
Okay. I am married, and I've got 2 kids, and 10 and 13, and they're both playing sports, so we have a busy home life. And for my day job, I am a commercial lighting rep, and I do residential lighting layout and design for new home construction and commercial construction.
So you're pretty busy.
I say that way, yes, sir.
Yeah, and this is why we regularly talk. Obviously, with you being in my team and Michelle's team, you know, we talk about all this time that if we don't allocate the time aside for our Ambit business in your busy schedule with 2 kids, with sporting events and that job, because I know you're traveling around the country all the time in your car. I know you're not getting on. You don't have regular hours. You wouldn't have necessarily the time to do your Ambit business. So I know we've talked about how important the structure is in this. Why don't you just tell us real quick as well, just the reason why you got started in your Ambit business?
Michelle introduced it to me as an opportunity to save some money, and my husband has just come off of a 7-month period of being unemployed. He was in the oil and gas industry and was laid off in January, and he started working again the first part of July, which is fantastic. He's in a completely different field, but in the meantime, Michelle introduced it to me at a time where we were just rebounding from his layoff, and I never she said it perfectly. She said, I never want someone to be in control of what I make or when I work. And I said, I so identify with that. And so she has guided me and helped me along, and slowly I'm building a team of people that are kind of in the same boat. And so hopefully this is just going to create some breathing room for my family. But that's how I was introduced to the opportunity, and it just made sense.
Yeah, no question. I completely understand that. While someone stands between you and your paycheck, you're never in control. And the number of friends that I have who are making, a couple of $100,000 or whatever, and, just all it's going to take is one reorganization or one downsize, and that job's gone. And I know, I certainly don't revel in any way, but I know a few of my friends who have had that kind of income of just, boom, the job's just gone. And you obviously, went through that with your husband. It's a tough time.
Right.
Okay, cool. All right, well, let's just dive straight on in. Do you have, couple of questions. First of all, do you have a written list?
I do.
Awesome. Do you have the top 10 names from that written list?
I do.
Fantastic. And then for those of you who are on the call, what I'm talking about a top 10 is what we do in our team, and a lot of you know about this on the call, but for those of you who don't, what we're basically doing is we score our team. We don't just have a list of names. Sorry, not our team, our prospects. We score our prospects. We have a written list of maybe 100, 200, 300 names or whatever it is, and we score them according to what we call an ERICA system, how entrepreneurial they are, how resourceful they are, or how many resources, do they have the money and this type of thing, how influential they are, how many people do they know that is. The city, are they local or not, and do they have a good attitude or not? Hence, ERICA is an acronym for that. And based upon that, we're able to score them, and then obviously there are names that rise to the top. And they will then be, we're going to call everybody, but what this does is it means you're going to be calling the best people first. So your top 10 names, would you mind giving me the first names of those top 10, please?
Okay. Do you want me to tell you a little bit about each one?
No, just go through the top 10 names first.
Okay,
just the
I've got Catherine, Candace, Todd, Amy, Tom and Valerie, Gwen, Jeff, Deborah, Sam, and Christina.
Okay. Now, for those of you who are listening in on the call who are the accountability partners, you need to do this same thing with your downline who are relying on you to be the accountability partner for them. It's this accountability thing is a two-way thing. I need to be just as accountable to Christy as she calls me during the week every day as she is to me to let me know how they went. So this is how you do this with your downline as well. Okay, so let's again dive in. Again, I want to make sure I finish in plenty of time so that we give everybody time to get onto the national call. So I just want to qualify one thing. You said, did you say Jess or Jeff?
Jeff, Jeff, Frank.
Okay, and then you said Sam, Sam, right?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So let's dive straight on in with Catherine. Tell me a little bit about Catherine.
Okay, she is a teacher, and she and I have been friends for a really long time, and she has begun to see the beginning of my success, and so it's kind of piqued her interest a little bit. She is also, within the last year, has become widowed, and so she definitely needs a parachute, and I really think that this could 100% help her build some residual income, and she's got the kind of personality that she can engage people very, very easily.
Okay, cool. All right, so I don't want to put you on the spot, and it's okay for you to say, no, Richard, I'd rather you help me with this first one. Do you have, you've been on these calls before, you know how we do this. Do you have any kind of idea of how you may want to invite her?
Essentially with her, we have talked about it as I've been in the business for the last couple of months, not full out conversations. I asked her to be my customer. She's in a contract, unfortunately. So it's going to be a little while before she can become my customer. But I feel like that's one of those things just in conversation. We see each other multiple times during the week. Our kids play together, that sort of thing. So I think it's more like, hey, take a look at what I'm doing.
Yeah, and you know that this is the thing is we do have kind of 5 guidelines that we use, but there is a 6th guideline which overrides all 5, which is to most importantly be yourself. And with you knowing Catherine for a long time and you being good friends, it's obviously needs to be a very casual invite. However, I do think you're in danger of getting dragged into a presentation if you're not careful at the wrong time. This is what very often happens with friends because you're always with each other. You're never in a hurry and there's plenty of time. And if you say, hey, I'd love you to take a look at what I'm doing, if you're not in a hurry to go anywhere, she's got all the opportunity in the world to say to you, well, what is it? What's it about? And all of a sudden you start, making a presentation to her there and then, well, it's, if this new company doing $1.5 billion in revenue, Jerry Thompson is a CEO and this type of thing, and you start getting dragged into a presentation. And there is never, 100% of the time, a correct time, that is correct, is to be dragged into a presentation at the time of invite. Actually, I'm going to say 99.9 because one should never say never. But you never want to get dragged into a presentation. So the invite that I would do for her, even though she is a good friend and you're going to say, well, it's about time you should actually take a look, I would have some preparation. So I would probably invite her when you're getting together, but on the way, when you're leaving her or giving her a call, because I do think it's so important for you to be in a hurry so you don't get dragged into a presentation. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So first of all, you can again do it face to face or on the phone and say, hey, listen, Catherine, I've been meaning to give you a call. We've always been talking. I'm in the Ambit business, so we know it's Ambit, so that's okay. And we've been talking about it for a little while. I'm in a little bit of a hurry right now, so I would always start that way. I'm in a little bit of a hurry right now, but I know your personal circumstances. You know that the Ambit business is working really well for my husband and myself, and I think it's about time that you just took a look at what we're doing. We just to find out if it's going to suit you or not. It may or may not be your cup of tea. So there's a nice little takeaway in there. So we've got a couple of whys in there. We've got the being in a hurry. So the 5 things are being in a hurry, the why, and number 3 is some kind of hook, number 4 is a takeaway, and number 5 is being intentional about a time. So we've already discussed being in a hurry. Then we talked about the why, which was, hey, listen, I know your personal circumstances. Obviously, you know that I'm working in Ambit, and you know why I'm working in Ambit, with my husband recently having lost his job. Fortunately, we've got a new one again. Ambit's really working out well for us. There's the hook. It's been really working out for us, and it's about time you just took a look. Okay, so there's this is why the purpose of the call. It may just to find out if it's going to be your thing. And Catherine, if it's not, that's perfectly fine. My friendship with you is much more important than me trying to convince you that a business is right for you. You'll know if it makes sense or not. So a really emphatic takeaway, and I think that's really respectful. Even amongst friends, you can do that. Even amongst friends, and I in fact think it's more important within friends because otherwise it gets really awkward. And that's the one thing we want to avoid. For those of you on the call who've tried to talk to your friends about this and you don't do it right and you are a bit pushy or you're a bit salesy, it gets really weird. And this is the way to avoid it. So, hey, Catherine, I'm a little bit of a hurry right now, but I've been wanting to get in touch with you this week because, I've been doing my Ambit business and it's because that to make sure that my husband and I don't get caught in that situation where we don't have income coming in again. Obviously, I know what you've been going through recently, and I think it's and Ambit's obviously working out really well for us. I think it's about time we just took a look at it to see if it makes sense for you. That's a really nice way of saying it, to see if it makes sense for you too. Catherine, it may or may not be your cup of tea. We're great friends. We'll always be friends. If it's not your thing, that's perfectly fine. But please, let's get together on Friday this week after school. When we pick the kids up from school or whatever for a cup of coffee or maybe after church on Sunday. Which one's going to be best for you? So there's the 5 things. You were initially you're in a hurry. Secondly, you discussed your why and her why. Then there was the hook that it's really working out well for you. And then you said it may or may not be your thing, Catherine. My friendship with you is more important than me trying to convince you of a business. That's the 4th thing. And then the 5th thing was really be intentional about your time. And that's kind of seems like it's an afterthought. It's not. I found that that's one of the biggest problems that many of my victims have had, is being really definite about the time. Oh, let's get together sometime this weekend. No. Make a time specific. Get together for coffee. Get together for a bite to eat. Get together after church. Whatever it is, be very specific. So that's a real simple one. Does that make sense to you, Christy?
Yes.
Cool. If you wouldn't mind, then make sure that if you need to listen back to the call, if you could write that invite down. Again, you are. Here's the thing. The one thing I know about you, Christy, is you have a really good natural talent. You will kill this business because you're naturally talented. But here's the downside of that. With you having that gift of the gab that you have, with you having that ability to converse with people, that's really good, and you will be really good at recruiting people. There's a danger for that type of person to be really good at recruiting and go wide and not getting any depth, because not many people share that same skill set as you, share that ability to be able to talk to anyone. And what happens is you'll find really great salesmen have a very wide business and they don't get any depth because they think everybody can talk to people just like you can. And so if you have the discipline of writing the invite down, pretty much as I was explaining to you earlier on, then you can then teach your team to do the same thing, because you'll make money in this business because your team are good at it, not because you are. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. So if you could write that down, have that ready for you, and then we can chat to Catherine next week. I'm really excited about that. I think she'll be really good for this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who was next on your list? I can't read my own writing. Is that Candace?
Candace, yes.
Candace, yeah. Tell me a little bit about Candace.
She is a sales counselor for a new home builder, and so she's got a lot of. She's one of those people that knows everyone. She's been in the construction industry for a long time, so she has a pretty wide network of people, and she is very gifted at making people feel at home with her. And so I think that she could potentially be really strong in this business as well.
Okay. So how well do you know her?
Fairly well. We've had a professional relationship for the last 12 years.
Okay. All right. So based on this, what do you think might be a good approach for her, do you think?
For her, I think she would respond well to, I want to get your thoughts on this business. As opposed
for an opinion?
to, hey, let me show you what I'm doing. Yes, just ask her for her opinion, see what she thinks, that kind of thing.
Okay, so if it was going to be that, you would say, obviously, hey, Candace, I'm in a little bit of a hurry right now. I've just got to go pick up the kids from school, or I've just got to go into a meeting. You're busy all the time, all the time anyway, so you'll always be in a hurry anyway. But again, this is for those who are listening in on the call. It's very important that you're in a hurry. Where would you there go for then? What would you? So you're in a hurry.
I would probably set up a lunch with her and just tell her I've got something that I would like to get her take on.
Okay, and that can be kind of not elusive in a bad way, but that's a kind of a nice. You've got the relationship, so you can say, hey, listen, I've got something that I'm working on right now, and I'd really like you to take a look at it. I'd really appreciate your opinion. That's perfectly fine. If you didn't know her quite so well, or you wanted to include your why, again, this is for those people who are listening in on the call. I may say, hey, listen, Candace, I'm just about to, yes, no problem. I'm just about to get into a meeting, but I've been meaning to give you a call because I've started a project recently. So you're talking about your why here. I've started a project recently to make sure that I've got enough college funds for my kids, or I don't know if she knows about you and your husband, his particular situation. If If she doesn't, I may not
aware of
necessarily
that,
bring it.
yes.
Okay, yeah. I don't want to get caught out like that again, so I've started a new project. And I'd really appreciate your opinion on it. So it's a little bit more detailed than that kind of 10,000-foot view approach that you did, but either is good. Now, there is another one which you may want to, there's another approach you could take here. I think I prefer yours, but there's another approach you could take. The reason why I think I prefer yours is because I think you can take this approach when you're actually with her as well. So, but it could be in the invite. The invite could be more direct. It could be, hey, Candice, I've been meaning to give you a call. I'm in a little bit of a hurry right now, so I've been meaning to give you a quick call. I've got a project that I'm working on right now that is going really, really well for me, but it's growing like crazy in the DFW area, and I've always really admired the way you build such great rapport with people. You're very gifted at what you do in your particular industry, and I'd like you to I'm looking for someone as a business partner to work this business with me, and I would really like you to consider taking a look. I don't know if it's going to be your cup of tea, and that's perfectly fine. My friendship with you is more important than any kind of business. But this is really working out for me. I need a good, solid partner. I really respect your ability in business. Let's get together for lunch on Friday. Let me show you what we're doing and see if it makes sense for you.
I like that.
Yeah, so there's you could go either way. I like that one too because I know your personality. And I think you could carry that very well. You've got great posture. You could carry that very well with her. And you know what? More than anything else, people are really flattered by that. If you called her up and you said that, you're first of all complimenting her, and it's genuine because you've told me how impressive she is. Mm-hmm. If you then follow that up with, I need to find a solid business partner to help me build this thing, it's something you can build alongside what you're currently doing. So don't worry, you're not quitting anything. You might want to include that. But I'd love to get together with you for lunch on Friday so you can take a look at what I'm doing. Again, Candice, it may or may not be your cup of tea, and that truly is fine. But this is working really well for me. You and I are very similar in the way we do things. I think you're going to like this. So let's get together on Friday, and I'll show you what I'm doing. So you could go a direct approach. I'll leave it up to you which one you want to go with. Okay. So on that one, we've got an opinion approach or a direct approach. Awesome. She sounds great. Okay. All right. So that's Catherine. That's Candice. By the way, anybody who's listening in, if you've got any questions, by all means, text Michelle. Michelle, just quickly text me your number. Super quick. Save me looking up. Just drop any questions to Michelle, and she will then text them through to me, and I'll try to make sure I get them answered during the call. So Michelle's going to text me. Oh, here we go. All right, the number is 682-521-4570. Again, 682-521-4570. Got any questions, text them to Michelle. She'll send them through to me, and I'll try and get them answered in the call. All right, so let's move on to the next one. We're going to move on to Todd.
Yes.
All right, tell me a little bit about it.
Based on what you just told me, he's an insurance rep. He's actually my life insurance rep. And we don't know each other incredibly well. We've known each other for a long time. We used to work together, and then he has started his own insurance firm. And so we're familiar, but not great friend. I wouldn't count him a friend necessarily, more like an acquaintance and that sort of thing. And I really like what you were just discussing, the direct approach. He has a really strong business acumen, and I think that he may be really responsive to the approach that you were just describing.
All right, so let's try it right now. Again, you may not remember everything in order and stuff, but what kind of approach do you think you might take with him then?
So with him, just say, look, I have started a new project. I'm really excited about the success I'm starting to experience. I'm looking for people to be the bedrock, the foundation of my team, and I think that you would be an excellent partner. I really want to know what you think about this project.
Okay. Yeah, that's absolutely the right approach. I might have complimented a little tiny bit more. First of all, don't forget to be in a hurry. I know I kind of labor that point, but it's so important. So make sure you're in a hurry. Hey, Todd, I've been meaning to give you a call this week. I'm in a little bit of a hurry right now. I'm just about to go into a sales meeting that I'm doing. I've been meaning to give you a call because I've started a project recently that's growing really, really well in the DFW area. And I absolutely have to find a couple of business partners who can work with me. And I've always been really, really impressed with the way you work your insurance business. It's something that is not going to interrupt with what you're currently doing, but I'd love you to take a look to see if it's your cup of tea. Again, Todd, whether it's your cup of tea is entirely up to you. I'm not going to try and convince anybody. It'll either make sense or it won't. All I know is it's working really well for me. There's the hook. It's working really well for me. What are you doing Friday lunchtime? I want to get together with you for lunch so you can take a look at what I'm doing, see if it's your thing or not. And Todd, if it's not, remember it's okay if it's not. You may know someone else who's looking for something like this, and you can refer me to them. So you've given him 2 huge doorways out. So he's going to be very relaxed because you've said it may or may not be his thing. And even if it's not his thing, he can still be kind to you and maybe refer you to someone who could work for you. So
okay.
I agree. I think a direct approach there would be good, especially as you say, you're really impressed with his entrepreneurship. And his skills and abilities. So I would go direct on that one as well. But I would give him that not only the takeaway, but also, Todd, if it's not your cup of tea, maybe you can refer me to somebody who is looking. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay. I've just got a question come in that someone says, what if they ask, what is it? That's a great question because that is probably the one that trips people up all the time. And this is the reason why, more than any other reason, you have to be in a hurry. It's because it stops you getting tripped up like that. Because if you get caught with a what is it, you're in super huge danger of being dragged into a presentation. And again, 99.9% of the time, you do not want to do that. So I'm just going to answer that question real quickly, Christy, if that's okay.
Sure.
2 things. First of all, make sure you keep the power. Do not let them take the power from you. They've already taken a little bit from you by saying, what is it? And that's perfectly okay. But snatch it right back from them. Posture is really important here. Now, I know some of you are not necessarily alpha type personalities, and I'm not saying that you go against your own posture, your own personality, but you do need to keep the power in the conversation, and that's the reason why you can preempt that by being in a hurry. So when they say, "What is it?" you can say, "Listen, remember I said I'm just about to get on a conference call, which is why I wanted to make an appointment so that I can actually show you what it is." So that's the first way, is by making sure you're in a hurry in the first place, then you've got a beautiful way out to say, listen, so the invite was, hey, Bob, I'm just about to get on a business call, but I've been meaning to get in touch with you. I want to show you this business. Okay, I've obviously paraphrased that particular one. He says, what is it? And say, well, Bob, the reason, remember, I'm just about to get on that conference call. I don't have time to go through it right now. That's why I'm making the appointment. Is Friday good for you, or was Saturday morning going to be better? Immediately go to closing the time down there. Now, you may have someone that keeps pushing and says, well, I really want to know what it is. And there are a number of different ways of being able to approach this. First of all, I don't let them take me that far. I've had that maybe 5 times in the whole time I've had in this business, and because I posture so hard on, I'm not telling you right now. Not awkward, not weird, but I've just got to get on this conference call. I haven't got time right now. That's why I wanted to reappoint or to make an appointment so we can get that going. So that's the way to deal with it. Another way to deal with it is to say, listen, the reason why I want to show you face-to-face is it's so important that you see how simple this is. And if I try to explain it to you over the phone, it doesn't come across as simple as it is. It may or may not be your thing, and that's fine, but I want to make an appointment with you, show you what I'm doing, see if it's something you're interested in. It may or may not be, and that's fine, but I need you to see how simple it is. How's Friday for you? So first of all, the first way out is to say I'm in a hurry. The second one, and this is not mine, it's Philip Eckhart's, I want you to see how simple it is. It's a real great way. It's kind of semi-answering their question. And if they keep pushing, there's two ways you can go. If someone keeps pushing, I'm actually going to take it away from them. I'm going to say, it sounds like the time's not right for you right now. Don't worry, no problem. I just was interested to see if this is going to be your cup of tea for something. No problem. Appreciate it. Hope everything's going well. I'll speak to you again. Boom, take it away. You got the power right back, 100%. They did not bully you into a corner. Now, not everyone does it that way. There are some people who will say, well, they'll ask the three questions. Well, how many people do you know who use electricity? And then they'll say, well, it's everybody. Well, how many people do you know who'd like to save money on electricity or maybe possibly even get it for free? Well, everybody. Well, what I wanted to show you was exactly that. It was to show you how it's a business, how we can save people money on their electricity bill or maybe even get it for free. So what are you doing on Friday? You've kind of answered their question without answering their question. Now, what about when someone says to you, is it Ambit? My immediate response is, oh, you're already a consultant? Because I'm assuming if they say, is it Ambit, they're already a consultant. So, and if they say, oh, no, and they'll have a comment, either positive or negative. If it's positive, say, great, well, I'd love to show you what we're doing, show you how well it's working for me, and see if it makes sense for you. What are you doing on Friday? If it's negative, and there's going to be plenty that will be negative, and that's okay, take it away. Say, look, it's not for everyone. I get that. That's perfectly fine. I appreciate you taking the time. See you soon. Bye. Get off the phone. So that's the way to deal with it. But the most important thing is don't let anyone bully you. It's yours. You've got the power. Don't let them take it away from you. Okay. All right, let's do one more invite, Christy, and then what we'll do is we'll do the rest of the invites during the week. I will record all of those invites as we go through them on Monday, Tuesday, and everyone, so you can listen to how we put invites together for there. So let's do one more, because, again, I want to make sure we finish in time so we can get on the national call. Hopefully that answered the question, by the way, for what is it? Hopefully that answered that question. All right, so we're on to Amy now?
Yes. Could we actually do Sam?
Yes, sure.
He's the one that I'm the most concerned about. He is someone that I have gone to church with. He is a retired financial planner and is always looking for new streams of income and that sort of thing. So I'm interested to get your take on how to approach him.
Retired, I'm assuming he's old. He's quite a lot older than you.
Yes.
Okay. I think it's similar to Catherine, your first one. No. Was it Catherine? No, it's similar to Candace. You could go one of two ways. Absolutely, the opinion is great. With those baby blues you've got there, he's going to melt when you ask him for an opinion. Because as soon as someone, I know I do, I fall for it every time. When anybody who's younger than me says, Richard, you've been successful in business, I'm thinking about starting this, or I had a guy the other day said, I'm looking at a franchise, I don't know what I'm doing, I'd love your opinion, can I buy you lunch? And I'll fall for it every time. Absolutely, yeah, of course, anything I can do. Anybody who's a nice person and you want nice people in your team would, of course, say yes. So absolutely an opinion approach could be, so I'd say, hey, Sam, I've been meaning to give you a call. I don't know if you know, but my husband lost his job fairly recently, and he's found another one, but it really scared us when that happened. So we started a new project to help us if that ever happens again. And I'm kind of new in business, and I know you've had so much experience in what you've been doing, both with yourself and the people you did financial planning for. Do you mind if I buy you a coffee or lunch so you can take a look at what I'm doing? I'd really appreciate any input or any referrals that you could give to me. What are you doing on Friday for lunch or whatever? I think that's a really nice approach, very respectful, and he will absolutely go for it. You're such a lovely that he would absolutely want to help you. The other way, The other way I'm not so comfortable with because of that same weird position. You are younger than him. And so it's kind of weird. And hopefully I'm not going to upset anybody here. But if you went up to him and said, hey, Sam, I know you've been, it's Christy. I'm in a little bit of a hurry right now. But I know you've been looking for another way to, actually, you know what? It doesn't sound too bad. No, you could go for a direct approach. I know you've been looking for a way to add to your income, and I've recently started with a project that's working really, really well for me. I don't know if it's going to be your thing, but you should take a look. You could go direct like that. That sounds kind of friendly too. How good friends are you with him?
I don't know him incredibly well. I know his wife very well.
Is she the one to approach then?
No.
Okay. All right.
She would shut it down in a heartbeat.
Okay, understand. All right. So, yeah, you could go one of two ways. One is, I'd really appreciate your opinion. And the other one is, I know, obviously in discussions, he's looking, right? Has he said anything to you before?
I know that he's like the guy that's always looking for a house to flip. He's looking for something new to invest in and those sorts of things.
Okay. I'm erring towards the opinion approach.
Okay.
But I think a direct approach would work as well, where you can say, hey, I know you're always looking for additional ways of being able to make money, particularly residual income. I've just started a project that's working really well. I fast promoted through the business already. Listen, Sam, I don't know if it's going to be your thing or not, and that's perfectly fine. But I'd love you to take a look at what I'm doing because it may work out for you. And even if it didn't it'd be something that you could refer me to. Well, no, I wouldn't even do that. I'd say I would keep it focused. And I would say it may be something that will be good for you too. Again, it may or may not be a cup of tea. That's perfectly fine. What are you doing on Friday for lunch?
Okay.
Either one is okay. Just see how you feel when you're making the call. See which one you're most comfortable with. Either one is fine. We just want to make sure that we get an opportunity to show him. And the thing is, with him being a little older and a financial planner, he may be like me, and I had been invited. There was no way I was going to start anything like this. But when I looked, I saw it. I was like, oh my gosh, I am so into this. So that's why I think the opinion approach might work.
Okay.
All right, so that's a few invites we've got going there. We've got 4 going so far, so you've got enough going for tomorrow and maybe Tuesday. But we'll, on the accountability call, so put that in your calendar for tomorrow and Tuesday when you're going to make your calls. And then what time would you like to call me for the accountability call?
Let's do 7.
7 o'clock, okay. All right, so then and it's always the prerogative of the person who's doing the calls to call the accountability partner. So if you would call me at 7, I'll make sure that I'm available for you, and we'll go through how the invites went. Sound good?
Okay, that sounds great.
Fantastic. All right, lovely. Well, thank you very much for getting on the call tonight. So as far as everyone else is concerned, just like I was saying with Christy, if you are the upline or the person who's being the accountability partner, make sure that you go through these invites together. I'm laboring the point a little bit here. You can get through this much quicker, but this is a training opportunity, so I take as much time as I can to make sure you guys can listen to the reasons why everything's behind it, so you can do the invites for yourself. When you're doing it, you can be a lot quicker. You can get through all 10 invites in 20 minutes. It doesn't have to take as long as this. Those of you who are the people doing the invites, please make sure you put this in your calendar. Please make sure you write the invites down. It is very comforting when you have a sheet of paper there on Monday morning thinking, I've got my job, I've got my family, I've got this, I've got that, but this is my Ambit job for the week. 10 names, 10 invites. Place it in your calendar when you can make them. Make sure you book the call with your upline to make sure that you do the accountability call, because that, of everything you do, the accountability call is the most important thing, okay? So make sure that you get an accountability partner. Make sure you have that booked into your calendar. Other than that, this Wednesday, for those of you who are in the DFW area, we have a team dinner, EC Riders team dinner, but it is open to everybody. And with it being just after Ambition, we want to kind of like to get everybody to maintain that momentum that we got from Ambition. Do come to the team dinner that we have. It's very social. There's like a modicum, tiny little bit of people actually standing up and speaking. The rest of the time, it's totally social. And if we're all going to get to RC together, if we're all going to get to SC together, come along and actually have fun together, eat together, break bread together. And then we work, and so we're working together and socializing together. It's a much easier business to do as a team, whether it's in your team or not. It doesn't matter. This EC Riders thing, the EC Riders thing is going to be, it's good for everybody. So please come to that. It's on Wednesday. It's at Texas Land and Cattle on Technology Boulevard West. I'm going to put all the information on the EC Riders Facebook page. So that's where you're going to get all that. I've got a very quick question. I'm going to answer it in 1 minute if I can. What is the best time to call someone? That's a tough one. I think mornings are better, but I don't know if there is a best time. I think there's a too early and a too late. But the rest of the time, I think you're perfectly fine. If you know that other person, if you know they're a stay-at-home mom or whatever, don't call them when she's dropping off or picking the kids up. If it's someone who's got a job, maybe call them at lunchtime when they've got time to take your call. I would just use your common sense because, as I say, there's definitely a too early and there's definitely a too late. But I also don't think it's a problem to call people at the weekends. Sometimes people say, "Oh, I don't want to call them at the weekend." Blah, blah, blah. No, call them. It's fine as long as it's not time when they're going to be sleeping or committed to their job. Be respectful of their job. So I would just use your common sense and think, okay, this person's working. I'll call them at lunchtime. This mum's going to pick up the kids at 3. This person, has a night shift. I'm not going to call them in the morning. That type of thing. There's no best time. Just make the call. Don't be procrastinating. Think, oh, well, I can't call now. I can't call now. Just use common sense for the basics. Lunchtime, picking the kids up, night shift, whatever. But other than that, as Chris Chambliss says, take the 20 seconds of courage, make the call, no specific time other than the obvious ones there. Okay. Hopefully that answered the question. Thank you very much for the questions. These are really good that come through because they're good for everybody. All right, let me get the Facebook page up here because I wanted to give you the details for the call. Okay, the call for the national call. The number is 712-432-7570. Again, 712-432-7570. The PIN is 84877#. Again, 84877#. Special guest tonight is Chris Chambliss. Get on this call. Everybody get on this call. I know you just spent an hour with me. Thank you for that. But this one is real important with Chris as well. It's a follow-up from Ambition, so please do get on that call. So, okay, well, thank you, Christy, for getting on the call. I really appreciate it. I will be chatting to you all during the week. Everybody here on the call, do come to the EC Riders team dinner on Wednesday. Get on the team call, on the the Purge call next Sunday, where we'll be following up with everything that Christy did. Also, remember, you can listen in to all the accountability calls that we're going to do. I'm going to post them all up on the Facebook page. So with that, thank you again. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Sunday night, and I'll see you all on the national conference call. Thanks very much, and good night, everybody.